This is Marc Jordan with the Montrose Area Chamber of Commerce, and with me today I have Ray Hardee, who is the pastor with the Point Church here in Belmont, and we're just going to talk a little bit about the Montrose Area Chamber. And when I came here 7 months ago and I met Ray, I found an enthusiastic board member, and I don't want to say that I stereotyped him as being what's a minister see in value to be a member of the local chamber, but I was intrigued by that, Ray. And so tell me a little bit about the church and how you've grown and developed, because it is, I see it, and I see the programs that you all have, and we can learn a lot from you as a nonprofit organization or as any kind of business. But tell me a little bit about that.
So we really believe that we want to build a bridge between the church and the community and businesses. There's not walls that separate us, although they're perceived walls. But I have a phrase that I really kind of used for years, that no matter where I'm in church or in the community, is I want to make a difference with people who want to make a difference, doing something that makes a difference at a time that makes a difference. And that to me has become very much a mantra. And whatever that happens to be is important. So even today I was talking with our lead elder about being present at not just board meetings, but also ribbon cuttings. That's exactly what the one that we worship would be doing. He'd be hanging out in the community and talking to the people and getting along with people. But there's all kinds of ways that we can say we want to make a difference. We don't want people just to come to our holy huddle. We want to go out into the world and to live out the mission that's important for us. And connecting with other people and networking opportunities with great cheerleaders like you and Julie and people that work here at the Chamber, Gordon Quarles, and all the folks that are part of the executive board are just powerful in terms of the influence in the community.
I just got to tell you, there's a lot. I'd like to take you on tour, because there's so much that we could teach local chambers through your philosophy.
If you'll feed me, I'll go.
We can do that.
That's good.
We'll tell Natasha we'll need some Chick-fil-A.
Oh, and I'll definitely
Chick-fil-A
go.
for the road.
Absolutely.
But I just think it's a real testament. My mother wanted me to be a minister. I failed her, obviously. So when I told her I was going to be a chamber executive, and in her mind, all she thought about, my goodness, I've sent this boy off to college, only kid in our family to go to college, and all he's learned how to do is hand out maps. And that was her idea of what a chamber was.
No, see, I would rechristen you. I'd call you a minister of business.
Well, there you go. There might be something to this.
Absolutely.
So I believe, like you do, that there's a way to make a difference in the community, and it just takes all of us to do that. The old takes a village.
Absolutely.
But I'm just so impressed with what you all are doing here and what you've done in the community. And then, of course, we came up, as a member of our board. We're always looking at ways. Chambers are always looking at ways to increase their revenue. And we had a planning retreat back in March that you attended, and we said, folks, there's got to be, we've got to have more revenue streams, just like a church does, than your dues. We've got to create value. We've got to create people who want to do more, and they will do more. And so we came up with this program called Sustaining Chamber Member.
Right.
And we've got a little marketing trick going on now, calling it, if you want to be a charter sustaining member, get on board by the 15th of October. And I told you earlier, I'm probably going to extend that to November. But anyway, to be a sustaining member of the chamber, we ask folks to voluntarily step up and increase their dues. And it's a fairly significant amount. But they do it for their sports teams.
Sure.
Why not do it for the chamber if you have value in what we do? And I just remember when I mentioned it to you, it wasn't send me or sell me anything. It was just send me the invoice.
Sure, we'll do it.
We want to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
And I have used that. I don't mind telling you.
Sure.
I've used that with a lot of people, and now we're up to 11, 12 sustaining members, which is really good for us.
Well, I'm honored to be a charter member.
Well,
so if you want to be a charter member, if you're like me, you like being first at something, so I would challenge you to do that. That'd be awesome.
That's a great.
The other thing I would say relative to that is that, I really look at the Chamber of Commerce as a ministry in the community. One of the interesting things that I've discovered about reading Scripture and applications toward life in the book of Romans, Paul talks specifically about how we are to obey the governmental authorities over us because they are God's ministers to us. So I really think in some respects that chambers of commerce and those that lead them are people that are ministers of business in the community, connecting people together with one another, connecting people to a greater mission. And as a result of that, we're able to do so much more together because of who we know. And if we don't know what we need to have, we know who to call, or we know who to email or to text or whatever.
Well, that's interesting that you should say that. I had a little stint for several years, like a lot of us, when we do the same sort of thing for 30, 40 years.
Right.
And we decide, okay, I'm going to quit. I never said retire. I'm going to quit. I'm going to become a consultant.
Yep.
A lot of starving consultants out there. But I became a consultant because I said, I know this chamber business.
Right.
So I named my consulting company Shamgar Consulting.
Okay.
And I got that from a book that I read called The 3 Success Secrets of Shamgar.
Okay.
Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can.
That's great.
I said, if I can't sell that to a chamber, and Pat Williams, who founded the Orlando Magic, co-wrote the book with a youth minister in Orlando.
Okay.
And I got the book. It's a great book. And it comes from the book of Job, I believe.
For Judges?
Judges.
Okay.
Yes. You should know that. You know that. And it comes from it's just like 30 words in the entire Bible about Shamgar.
Right.
And he was a farmer.
Right.
And he was called and said, take your ox gourd and go out to the fork in the road and defend Israel from the Philistines. He did, and that's where the whole book was written, the premise of start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Yeah. So that's kind of my philosophy with a chamber. You don't have to have a lot of resources. You just have to know what you've got.
Absolutely.
And use them wisely.
Sure.
And that's what we do. Now, one more question. This is a small chamber. We say, we hope we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 to 500 members.
Right.
But I will say that during this time when folks were shut down and lots of things happened, we lost some members. And sometimes it's hard for us to figure out who we lost.
Right.
Because they've gone somewhere else, or they're working out of their homes.
Right.
And they're not communicating with us like they used to. But it happens, but we're small. But, we can still make a difference.
Right.
And I've had people say, I've been in some huge chambers, and I've had suburban chambers all around me. And I've heard people say, well, why don't y'all just merge? Why don't y'all go out of business? And as long as there's a niche, I think we need to be here.
Right.
But I don't know what your thought about that is in this whole metro Charlotte region we've got. There are a lot of chambers.
Right.
But I believe that, the truth is whether we can maintain our membership.
Right.
If they believe we're providing a service, then they'll remain with us.
Absolutely. And so I think that one of the things is so very affordable. Like a basic membership is how much?
Yeah. Gosh, $200. A charitable nonprofit can get in at like $185.
So the deal is like this. If you're considering this is a thing where you cut expenses, here's the thing that I've always understood: when times get worse is when you need to spend more time connecting and to reconnect with other people. And $15 a month is something you might be paying on a washing machine or something like that. Why not pay $15 or $18 a month in your budget for the corporate ability to network with other people and just what you do regularly? You and Julie and our whole team here, every ribbon cutting, every new business that's open are opportunities to get closer and closer to other people and are opportunities to do business with other people. Right. That's why even as a minister, I was just talking to our lead elder a little bit earlier today, but I think it's probably part of my responsibility and a missed opportunity that every time there's a ribbon cutting, I should be there.
Yeah.
Because it's a way for me to connect with people in the community. I know I'm something of a purple cow, if you will, is what Seth Godin calls it, meaning something that attracts attention. Yeah. But I would challenge even other ministers in the local area that are that this is a perfect chance to very much be like the one that we serve. He went and he hung out with people where they were, and he did what they did. He didn't just say, I'm going to be at the synagogue on Sunday at 9:30 and 11, and you guys need to show up then. Instead, we need to be more and more engaged with people where they are to find out who they are and to show them that we care.
And that's sort of the way, I've been in the chamber world for a lot of years, and it's changed. Everything has changed. If it hasn't changed, you're out of business. But we're finding now, just like you just explained, the mission of a chamber is different today than it was 10 years ago, 2 years ago. We have got to be more closely aligned with the community. Mm-hmm. Because if we can help move the needle, improve the community, then we're going to do a better job for the businesses.
Absolutely.
And it works hand in hand. So just like our Mont Cross Emerge initiative, that we're out there working with our local communities, and I'm happy to say that every one of our Mont Cross communities has become a partner with us in this effort. Mm-hmm. And it's going to, I think we'll be talking about it for years. I won't be, but years from now, this will have transformed this organization into a really community-based organization.
And I really think the whole idea of what has happened in the chamber in the last 10 to 15 years, I remember back in the day, back in the 07, 08, 09 time period, we had a big meeting about how the part of the Mount Holly was going to merge with Belmont, and it was kind of like Belmont people didn't like the Mount Holly people, and the Mount Holly people didn't like Belmont people. And so a line came to me, and they asked me to come in to pray at that event. And I said, right before I prayed, I said, we need to remember what Benjamin Franklin said at the Continental Congress. If we don't hang together, we will hang separately. Yeah, and so because of the combination of the Belmont Mount Holly area chambers of commerce and also the other ones in this area, the Gaston Business Association and various other places that are doing really good things, we really are dependent on one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times the only thing that's keeping us from accomplishing a whole lot more is just control. Who's going to control it? Well, I want to lead a congregational community at my church that's out of control, where there are people that are coming, their needs are being met, and that kind of stuff. But the same thing I want for my local community. I want it to be growing and thriving. And what has happened in this local community in the last 10, 11, 12 years has just been incredible.
Absolutely, yep.
I mean, all kinds of things are developing. The Chronicle Mill right down the road is going to be a housing development, a place in the community for people to gather together that used to be spinning cotton, which was a wonderful thing in that day. But now it's being repurposed to something new. And you're exactly right. If you continue to do the same things over and over again, that's the definition of insanity. So let's put some sanity to this, and let's encourage more and more of you that are out there to be sustaining members. Or if not a sustaining member, it is a higher level. If you've been out, it's a great time to come back in. Let's go from having 400 to 500 members to 1,000 members, because every time we see each other and we connect with one another, there's never a time when I go to a board meeting or to an Emerge experience or to any other thing that the chamber sponsors for years that I've not had value added to my life because I've been a part of it. Yeah. So you guys are constantly adding value to people. Even this next Mont Cross Emerge thing that we're going to do with staffing. So among the people, there are lots of people that are going to help to do this, but Natasha Gilbert's with Chick-fil-A. If anybody has figured out how to do staffing, it's Chick-fil-A. And even standing outside in freezing cold, rain, and pandemics, what everybody wanted was they wanted their Chick-fil-A. And when people were delivering it to us, it's always with my pleasure. And the thing that I really appreciate about that is we can do our business like it's a drag, or we can do our business like it's a privilege. And it really is a privilege. And I think during the pandemic, what we've discovered more than ever, and all the way back to the recession of 07 and 08, is that to be functioning and to be busy in some kind of busyness, if you will, of life is a privilege. Do we really want to all sit home behind our screens and wait for the next Zoom call? I mean, I know some of you are out there, you're very different than me. You're introverts, and you're kind of like you could live in that world forever, right? And I get that, and God made you that way, and that's cool. But we've learned very quickly that we have to be together. We have to connect with one another. Even if not in person where we're breathing the same oxygen in the same room, at least over the same digital streams. Absolutely. So that we can learn. And that's the great thing about the Chamber and what Mark and what Julie and Gordon and others have done is that we've helped to kind of level the playing field. The world is now flat, as Tom Friedman said years and years ago. And these things that we're watching through right now or listening to in this podcast are the things that have made it flat. Yeah. And we have immediate connectivity to almost everyone. So why not take advantage of that connectivity?
Absolutely.
I heard a great speech yesterday from Jesse Itzer, who did Marquis Jets. And he said that every day for years he did nothing but to go to DM somebody, 2 or 3 people in the morning. It took him less than a minute. Yeah. Hey, how are you doing? I really appreciate your leadership. here's a picture I saw of you, somebody, this is really excellent. And he did, so over the span of a year, that's 1,000 people. What if we just take 10 minutes a day or 2 minutes a day to connect with other people for the benefit of the whole community? To me, that's what this is all about, and that's why I'm grateful to be able to serve as a board member and a charter sustaining member. And I'm grateful that we're one of the few churches, I guess, that are involved in Chamber of Commerce life. But let me challenge those people in churches: get involved. This is the perfect place to go and connect with people that might have what it is that you have to help give them.
Well, Ray, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being with us today.
My pleasure, Mark.
And the message is such a great one, and I think we can probably circulate this among a lot of people, and that's what I plan to do. And I appreciate your
Yes, sir.
commitment to our chamber and to our community and to your calling, and I appreciate you kind of associating me with the ministry a little bit.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Your mother's watching. She's proud.
That's
So
true.
I would close with saying this: we want to make a difference with people who want to make a difference, doing something that makes a difference at a time that makes a difference. Time is not any better than right now. So become a member, become a sustaining member, take the next step, show up for meetings. I'm committing to Mark that I'm going to show up to more ribbon cuttings and things like that, because that's really the best way to network with other people and to grow whatever business we're in. Love what Peter Drucker used to say.
Yes.
What business are you in? So what business are you in? Here's the second question. So how's business? If it's not good, this is a great place and a great leader and a great group of people that can help to make and add value to your life.
Thank you, Ray.
My pleasure.
Thank you all. Thank you all for watching us, and we'll see you somewhere on the circuit.